Hello, I'm Jinai Sun. I'm an associate professor of Chinese at North Central College. I've been teaching Chinese language and culture for 9 years. I've led trips to different regions in China 6 times, including Xi'an, Shanghai, Beijing, 3 cities we're going to visit in May 2021. I'm always excited to take students to China and support them to learn and explore. And now I'm going to turn it over to Professor Patterson, who will be co-teaching and lead the trip with me next year.
Hi, everybody. As Dr. Sun said, I am Stewart Patterson, and I will be going on the trip with you, and I will be helping Dr. Sun lead the course that precedes the trip, and I'm going to be telling you a little bit about that. I'm coming to you mostly not as a leader, but as a fellow student. My job at North Central College is to chair the Scheimer Great Books School, where we read a lot of literature and philosophy and other things. And that is why I'm interested in China, because I began reading Chinese literature in my courses a few years ago, and I've begun taking trips to China with Dr. Sun. Most recently, I was there last summer in 2019, and my first trip to China was with Dr. Sun on one of her December term trips in 2017 when we went to Shanghai and Taiwan. I helped her lead the course on contemporary Chinese identities, which is the theme of the trip, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. So we thought that this might be an interesting way for me to talk to you as a fellow student, but also as a co-leader. So let me turn to the course that we will be leading together, Dr. Sun and I, in spring of 2021. And the name of that course, again, is Contemporary Chinese Identities. The code is Chinese 364-1, which is not to be confused with Cardinal Directions 361-2, which is the name of the May term trip itself. We separate the two because if you want to go on the May term trip, you can take the semester course before, during the spring, or you can do some other kind of preparation. So, in other words, you do not have to take Chinese 364 Section 1 to go on the trip, but we encourage you to if you have room in your schedule, because there we will be covering 3 aspects of preparation for the trip. Namely, first, we will be introducing you to students and families that you will meet on the trip who have firsthand knowledge of what it means to be Chinese and all the different ways there are to be Chinese. As you begin to know China, you will understand that there are many, many different ways of being Chinese today, and we want to introduce you to some. We will be visiting 3 cities, as Dr. Sun said, Beijing, Xi'an, and Shanghai. I'll tell you a little bit about those as we get into the rest of the video, and then I'll be telling you about what you can do to start preparing yourself to go on the May term trip next year. So the first thing, and probably the most important thing that we will do during the course, and again, we can do this with you if you don't take the course, but we will be introducing you to some Chinese students and Chinese families through Chinese social media, which we will give you to learn to use. The program is called WeChat, and it is sort of a combination between Facebook and Instagram that you can download to your phone and begin to have conversations even before we get to China with people that you will then meet and possibly stay with while we're in China in the 3 different cities that we'll visit. So that's one of the major components of the trip, is for you to actually get to know some Chinese and to live and play and maybe even work a little bit with them. They are going to be people who are very interested in meeting you, in learning English and learning about what it means to be an American. And so we're going to be doing a little bit of cultural diplomacy, if you will. And that's the purpose of the trip, but we'll be doing it in 3 different places. So we'll also be learning a little bit about different aspects of China. One of the things that we want to mention as I go forward is the fact that you do not need to be a Chinese language student. I myself do not have a lot of Chinese language. I'm learning it bit by bit as I voyage to China and get to know Dr. Sun. I am studying the language myself, but I am not an expert in Chinese. I find it very helpful in that way to have Dr. Sun to go with so that she can lead the way and use her expertise as a native Chinese speaker to show us around. But also, I can begin to use my Chinese and learn more Chinese by interacting with the people who are there. But we want you to know that if you're a business major, for example, you can go to China and pursue your interest in business. We can introduce you to people who are in entrepreneurial businesses in China or established business people. If you're a lawyer or preparing to be a lawyer, we can introduce you to people who are practicing law and what that means in China. So it's a way for you to understand what doing the kinds of things that you may be studying are done in China, and possibly even start building networks there if that's a place that you would choose to study or work in future. So for example, if you're studying English and you're thinking about a career in teaching English, or at least starting a career in English through teaching in a foreign country, you can do so in China. And as we say, the people that we'll be meeting will be students of English in many cases. So you can learn what it is for them to study English. So lots of different opportunities for different majors, not just for Chinese language or students of Chinese culture. Finally, one of the things that we're going to be doing on the course is a multimedia introduction to China. We won't introduce you to all of China. That would be silly for us to even try that. But we will be introducing you to some of the important history and cultural forms in the 3 places that we're going to be visiting. What you see on your screen here is just one of the stories that we'll explore in the course. And that we can do with you. If you're not in the course, we can give you some materials to look at, including a film about a monk from the 8th century whose name is Xuanzang, who was sent from Xi'an, where we'll be going, to India to retrieve Buddhist scriptures. This is a historical episode that was made into a movie that you see the poster of here. And that historical journey of that monk has also become the subject of one of China's great myths, one of the great stories of China, akin to, say, the Odyssey or the Iliad in the West. And that is the journey to the West, in which Xuanzang, the monk, is accompanied on his way to India by the Monkey King, who you see pictured here. He's a bit of a trickster who rides the clouds and wields a very mighty staff and is written as an allegory of the human mind. So this whole screen here is intended to give you a sense of the various ways that through different media we'll be encountering different aspects of Chinese civilization. And this is just one of many. We'll be looking at the history of the Chinese Empire. We'll be looking at the Cultural Revolution under Mao Zedong in the 20th century and how China has emerged from its past as an imperial power into its current status as one of the rising powers of the world with a very interesting political and economic structure. So that's what the course will do. Finally, here is the itinerary in a nutshell for the trip that we will go on. Beijing, as you can see here, is very close to the Great Wall of China, which we will visit. The other places that we will go in Beijing include the Forbidden City. So in Beijing, we'll be studying the politics of China and its past. And then we will go to Shanghai. Shanghai is the center of the modern Chinese economy. As you can see, it's a very modern city. It's one of the largest cities in the world. It's very exciting. And its history involves the contact that China has had with Western powers like Germany and Britain and the United States over the 19th and early 20th century before China became what it is today, and that is the People's Republic of China under Mao Zedong. And then the third place we will go is Xi'an, which is the oldest capital of China. Before Beijing became the capital, Xi'an many thousands of years ago was the capital. As you can see here, this is also the site of the very famous terracotta warriors, who are the army that was built by the first emperor of China, whose capital was in Xi'an, which was then called Chang'an. He created this army for his purposes after he died. So this is one of the great funereal monuments in the world, and we'll visit that. We'll also see Xi'an in its guise as the origin, or if you will, depending on your perspective, the endpoint of the ancient Silk Road, the trading route between China and the West, along which China sent its silk and received goods and visitors like Marco Polo from the West. We invite you to get in touch with us about more details. We don't want to load you down with too many details about the trip right now. We are hoping that this whets your appetite. And I'm going to end by letting you know just how to get in touch with us. We recommend that you write us an email. You can write us together or separately. Dr. Sun's email and my email are at the bottom of the screen here in the orange field. Again, this is a trip that we took just last summer in 2019. We're here in the Forbidden City in Beijing, another place that we'll be going. Another thing that you can do to get to know how May term trips work in general is contact your academic advisor. They can give you some other details about how to fit the spring course, Chinese 364, into your schedule. And if you can't, what alternatives we can offer you to prepare you for the trip. So thanks for your time, and we look forward to being in touch with you, and good luck in starting your semester in the fall. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Dr. Patterson, for the helpful information, and thank you for watching. I look forward to talking more to you soon. Have a wonderful semester.